Hello students, how are you all? So welcome to the third part of the lecture for the chapter number 3, that is motion in a straight line. So today we are going to discuss the topic that is acceleration. So let's see what is the acceleration. So acceleration is basically the rate of change of velocity with respect to time. Okay, that means if the velocity is changing with the moving time, okay, during the motion, that is known as, this rate of change is known as the acceleration. So that means we can write the acceleration with the small a, and that is equal to del v upon del t. Okay, that is delta v, that is the difference between the velocity. Okay, we can write it as v final minus v initial. Similarly, for the time we can write t final. Okay, that is the final time and it is the initial time. Okay, so this acceleration, if we see, can also be positive value and can also be negative value. Okay, so either it can be positive, negative, and even it can become zero, because if the velocity is not changing, then your final is equal to initial, and that's the zero, the difference is the zero. So there are three possible values, and of course if it is depending on the velocity, so we can call the acceleration is also a vector quantity. Okay, so it is also a vector quantity since it is depending on the direction, or you can say it is depending on the velocity. Okay, now as we know how to write the terms that are in delta v upon delta t when the limitation of our time is very small. So as I told you in the mathematical tool, that if the duration of our time becomes very small, that means if you want to track the change in velocity for very small finite difference of time, then this delta converted to the differentiation form, and thus we can write our delta v upon delta t in the form of dv upon dt. Okay, dv upon dt, and which is also equal to the acceleration. Now talking about the dimension of the acceleration, though you know already, that is lt minus 2. Okay, so here it is m to the power 0, that means there is no term of m, so it only depends on l, that is the length, and the time is square, that is the inverse square, that is lt minus 2, and the SI unit of the acceleration is meter per second square. Okay, so these are all basics about the acceleration. Now let's talk about how many type of accelerations are there. So the first acceleration category is known as the uniform acceleration. That is the uniform acceleration. Okay, so uniform acceleration, again the word uniform has came, and I told you that uniform means something that is in the one form or the constant form. So this is also termed as the constant acceleration. Okay, so if your velocity changing with the equal amount of values, okay, that is your velocity is changing at every duration of time but with the same amount of changing, so that will be known as the uniform acceleration. Okay, for example, for every duration of second, like this is 0, this is first second, this is 2 second, and this is third second. Okay, now for every duration of second, if your velocity is increasing by 5 meter per second, again 5 meter per second, and 5 meter per second. Okay, so what is the total value of your velocity we can write? So in first duration you can write your velocity was 5, then after the increment it became 10 because of this 5 increment, and then again because of this 5 increment it has become 15. So now you see that if you calculate the acceleration, okay, since the velocity is increasing with the same amount, you can find it that for this duration between the 1 to 2, let's write the acceleration. So what it will be, that is the final velocity 10 minus 5 upon 2 minus 1, so that is 5 meter per second square. Okay, similarly you can also write for the duration between 2 and 3. So how we'll write, that is acceleration is equal to final, that is 15 minus 10, that is initial, 15 minus 10 upon 2 minus 1, so that is again 5 meter per second square. Okay, so thus for every interval of time, if your velocity is increasing by the same amount of value, that means your acceleration is constant and you call it as a uniform acceleration. Okay, so now let's talk about the second one, that is a non-uniform acceleration. So if the velocity of a body is changing by the unequal amount of value, with respect to time, that is known as the non-uniform acceleration. Okay, so for example, let's take again, that is 0, 1, 2, and this is 3. Okay, so let's suppose for first duration of time, first duration of second, your velocity increased by 5 meter per second, then it increased by 15 meter per second, and then in the third duration, what you see, it became it decreased by 2 meter per second. Okay, so let's write the values of our velocity. So in first second it will become 5 meter per second. Now in second duration it increased by 15, so it will be 20 meter per second. Okay, and in the third duration it decreased, so that why it is 18 meter per second. Okay, so as you see, the interval is different, and that's why you are getting a non-linear type of velocity increment. So this kind of acceleration, you will find that the acceleration for each duration of time is different, and that's why it is known as non-uniform acceleration. Okay, so let's check it out, that what is the acceleration changing. So here for 0 to 1 second we are calculating, so it is 5, and earlier it was 0, so 5 minus 0 upon 1 minus 0, that is 1, so this is 5 meter per second square. Again for the 1 to 2, that is for the 1 second between the 2 second and the 1, let's calculate the acceleration. So this is your final, that is 20, and initial was 5, and the duration is again 1 second, so this time you are getting 15 meter per second square. Okay, and if we consider for the third duration, that is between 2 and 3, so let's see what is the acceleration. So it is finally 18, and initial was 20, and here time interval 1, that is minus 2 meter per second square. So you can see that for every duration of time we are getting the different values of our acceleration, and thus it is known as non-uniform acceleration. Okay, so I hope this is clear to everyone. Now the third comes, that is the average acceleration. That is the average acceleration. Okay, so let's suppose you are traveling on a very long journey, like you are going from Gorakhpur to Lucknow. So in order of the travel, sometimes you will get good vacant roads, and sometimes you will get a very traffic road. So sometimes you accelerate your bike, and sometimes you will be in the traffic, and sometimes you will move with the lower or the slower velocities. Okay, so on the complete journey you have a different values of your velocities with respect to time. Okay, so in that order we calculate the average acceleration. Okay, we calculate the average acceleration. So let's see that how you can do this. Now let's suppose for the at the time t1 your acceleration was e1, and at time t2 your acceleration was e2. So if you want to calculate the average acceleration, so this is equal to the a1 into t1 plus a2 into t2 upon, that is the total time taken between the both, that is t1 plus t2. Okay, t1 plus t2. So you can call also this ratio as the total change in the velocity. The total change in velocity of your body upon the total time taken is known as the average acceleration. Okay, so that is the thing. And the fourth one comes the instantaneous acceleration. So that I already told you, that when you calculate the acceleration at a particular instant, so you can replace this, that is limitation tends to 0, so you simply differentiate the equation of velocity and you will get the instantaneous acceleration at that particular point. Okay, so the fourth is just instantaneous, that is at a particular instant, you can call at a particular instant. Okay, so the acceleration at the instant means at a particular time duration. Okay, at a particular very small time duration, and it can be written as dv upon dt in the form of differentiation, and it is known as instantaneous acceleration. So in this part, or in the after the acceleration, we will see the important graphs that are related to the motion of the body, and here we will see all the graphs on the single page to just think about that what is the possible graph formation for a particular body. Okay, so let's take the first condition. Those the first column will show you position time, then the velocity, and this is the acceleration. So first condition we are taking that the body is at rest. The body is at rest. So if the body is at rest, that means its position is not changing with respect to time. So if this is the position and this is the time, so what you will get? You will get a straight line because your position is not changing. Okay, now let's see this graph in the case of velocity. So as you are seeing here that there is no rate of change of position since the position, let's suppose this is t2 and this is t1, and your position at t2, let it be x, and again for t1 you are getting the same value, that is x. So the difference in the both, that is x minus x, has now become 0. So what you can write, that is delta x upon delta t, which is equal to velocity, is 0. Okay, so for this condition at rest, velocity time graph do not exist, and if velocity is even not existing, then your acceleration is also do not exist. Okay, now let's talk about the bodies are in motion. Okay, now let the body is in motion, and let's take the condition of uniform motion. Okay, so the second condition that we are talking about, that is uniform motion. Okay, so as we know, for uniform motion there is now change in the position of the body by the equal amount of distance. Okay, by the equal amount of distance, so we can call it in the form of straight line motion. Okay, so this is representing the position and this is representing your time. Okay, so for uniform motion you get a straight line. So straight line means here that if you try to take out the slopes, okay, the slope will give you, that is, this is your x2 and this is your x1, and let's suppose this is your t1 and this is your t2. Okay, so if you take out the slope, that is theta, so this theta will be equal to, that is tan theta is equal to this x2 minus x1, this is your perpendicular, upon time, that is t2 minus t1. Okay, so this slope will give you velocity. Okay, this slope will give you velocity. Now for the straight line, even if you calculate the slope at any of the two time intervals, you will get the same value of theta. Okay, so what does that mean? Theta is same, that means your velocity is constant, as I told you in the uniform motion. So let's see the graph for it also, for the velocity. So you will get a straight line between the velocity and the time in the uniform motion, because uniform motion means velocity is constant. Now if the velocity is constant, that means for the two given time intervals your velocity will have a same value, that is v2 will be equal to v1. So the difference is again 0. So that means our acceleration will also not exist, because the values of velocities for the two time intervals are same. Okay, so for uniform motion again the acceleration graph do not exist. Okay, now let's talk about the non-uniform motion, in which the velocity changes and do not remain constant. Okay, so let's see first the position time graph. So for position time graph, for this case we will see that there is a non-linear curve that we will get between the position and the time. Okay, so as I told you that you can calculate the slope, and slope will give you velocity. Okay, so now let's suppose if you want to see what is the meaning of this graph, so just take any point and draw the tangent from this point. Okay, just draw the tangent from any point and you will get the tangent slope with respect to this time axis. Okay, so this theta will give you again, that is the slope, and of course it will give you the velocity at this instant. Okay, so as we keep drawing the tangent along this curve, okay, so what you see that coming to this point you are getting a tangent, and that is having a very large slope as compared to the earlier one, that is theta 2 is quite greater than theta 1. So that means if the slope is continuously increasing, your velocity is increasing. Okay, so that's why non-linear curve gives you the non-uniform motion. So let's see the velocity graph also. So you will get this time a straight line between the velocity and the time. Okay, now here you can find for the two different time intervals, that is t1 and t2, what you find that there is different velocities. Okay, and thus we can get a slope here And the slope of Vt curve, we know that is written in the form of V2 minus V1 upon T2 minus T1 will give you the acceleration. So this means this time your acceleration graph will be existing. Okay, so since there is a straight line, so at every instant of duration you will get the same slope. So same slope means same acceleration. Thus you will get a straight line between the acceleration and the time. Okay, so that is for the non-uniform motion. Now this same non-uniform motion can also be seen as this. Okay, so this is again a position time graph. Okay, so this was the case for let me write that this is for the case of increasing velocity. Okay, increasing velocity. And in this graph, if you see that what are the tangent, if you see the tangent and how it is varying, then this at this point the tangent is like this. At this point the tangent is decreasing, and at this point also what you see that the line is, that is, the slope is completely becoming parallel to our x-axis, that is the time. Okay, the slope is continuously decreasing, that means your velocity is decreasing. Okay, your velocity is decreasing, so that means this is having a reverse direction graph, that is v and t, that is your velocity is decreasing continuously. Okay, so this means the velocity is decreasing. Okay, so I hope you get it. And now the since the velocity is decreasing, that means there is some deceleration. Okay, that is some deceleration, that is deceleration means the direction of acceleration is opposing the velocity. So this time you will get the constant line but on the negative axis, that is the negative acceleration you are getting for the graph. Okay, so what does we found here, that if velocity is increasing, okay, if velocity is increasing, that means acceleration is also is constant and is acting on the in the same direction of the velocity. Okay, that means v is increasing, then acceleration is acting in the same direction. But if v is decreasing, okay, if v is decreasing, then acceleration is acting but in opposite direction to your velocity. Okay, opposite direction to your velocity. The example for the first one is when you start your scooter or your scooty and you are accelerating, then both are acting in same direction. But if you are just moving and you have suddenly saw the traffic lights, okay, that is a red light, so you apply a brake and your velocity decreases, and thus you can say the acceleration is acting in the opposite direction. Okay, so these are the important curves. Now one thing, you note down one more thing. Okay, that on the positive on the positive axis you get a positive slope. Okay, you get a positive slope, and if you are getting the negative slope also, so that means your velocity is decreasing. Okay, the negative slope means that your velocity is decreasing, or if your slope is continuously decreasing also, like in the second example, that also means your velocity is decreasing. Okay, so I hope this lecture of graph would be very helpful for you, and thank you so much.